Hey, what's going on, everyone? And welcome back to the Behind the Duel Disc podcast. I'm your host Ty Payne here with my good friend and co-host Justin Morgan.
What's
Uh,
going on?
Justin, how you been doing today, King?
Dude, it's been a day, man. Yeah. Let me give you a 2 minute rant, okay?
All right.
All right, so went to locals and usually stop and get food before we go.
Mhm.
So locals is an hour away, and I have to leave my house at 12 p.m.
Right.
About like 11:50 p.m. or 11:50 a.m. So I go to McDonald's at 11 o'clock. I'm literally in the drive-thru for almost 30 minutes, and they try to bring me my order out three different times. It's the wrong order. So I finally go inside to get a refund.
Right.
I go to Sonic to use the app because it's like half off drinks, and the app has to update. And then like the app's not when I get on the app finally, it says this location's not doing app orders.
What?
So I pay full price. Go to locals, dude. My only win today was the buy, um,
Oof.
because I drew the most horrible hands.
Were
And
you playing the hero deck?
bro, I was listen. I went to a case tournament and got second place with Hero. Took the same exact list and lost every single match. Dude. I lost the Super Poly 2 games. I gave the dude Dark Angel. He both times he tributed him for a level 6 monster,
Oh my gosh.
and then proceeded to go into Super Poly. Let me tell you, I was tilted, but I was like, whatever, dude, you got it, you got it.
Oh my god.
And
I'd be so jaded.
bro, so game one or round one, I went against the Melodious stuff,
Right.
and it turned into a Melodious engine followed up by a Pen Magician engine. So he ended on like a three negate Appaloosa, a Vortex Dragon, Hope Harbinger, and an IP Masquerade and an Abyss Dweller. And he's like, "Oh, you must have drew a bad hand." Like, no, dude, you had 25 negates on board.
Right.
Like, I didn't draw a bad hand, and I even dropleted four of his cards, and he had Droll and Lockbird in hand.
Jeez, this dude's been taking
So,
like lessons from from
so,
Triff.
so game two, I had Dimension Barrier, and I just called Pendulum Summon, and he couldn't play. And then game three, I impermed. I don't know what the Melodious stuff does. I impermed the wrong card, and he went into Apo IP and Dweller
Mhm.
with Droll in hand.
Good
And I'm
gosh.
just like, dude, whatever. So, round two, I went against what deck was it? I don't remember right off, but I ended up losing that one as well. And then round three was the buy, and round four I lost to branded or not branded, but Pure Chimera,
Yeah.
and they had the new level 6. He tributed over Dark Angel, so I was like, whatever.
Um,
It was not my day, bro. It was not my day.
dude,
How's your day been?
it's been pretty good. Just been chilling out with the family today. I was gonna go to the Switch tournament that they had at Picante, but I was just like, I'm good on that. It's nah, I wasn't really feeling it. Like,
That was a mess from what I hear.
yeah, that's that. From what I was seeing in our group chat, like that was a circus. That was an absolute circus. Like that. What did that one guy like? Like one like a bunch of the messages got jumbled up for me. Like, so did that guy that was being talked about, like that it was his first day? He made the final, right?
I don't know if that was him or not, but he had exchange
Yeah,
in his deck,
yeah. He
and
exchanged.
Axe of Despair,
Yeah, he exchanged Boyd out of the world.
and he had Axe of Despair,
Yeah,
bro.
and pulling the rug.
It sounds like this dude opened up like one of his old tins that had like a mishmash of cards in his closet, and made a deck out of it.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. I was just like, because every message I kept seeing about this dude's deck, and like he magic cylindered Sasha. If I'm correct, game two,
Dude,
and won that game two off the cylinder. I'm just like, what is this dude's deck? Like,
that explains why Boyd has the GoFundMe up.
I I I can't. I'd be jaded. I'd be absolutely jaded. I couldn't do it. Like, because that just like yeah that stuff like that it is like, especially if you like, if you put like the time in like we had with Edison, it's just what is that to like to lose stuff like that. But hey, it's Yu-Gi-Oh. They're like, you can't control the variance.
Dude, I just Yeah, you're right. You can't. You just have those days where like you're just going to lose to the worst player in the room.
Yeah, like it don't matter how good your technical play is. Like if they got it, they got it.
So you have a very interesting topic for us to talk about the next couple episodes. Something I think is very cool.
I do. We've talked about this for more. We've talked about this more than the idea of this podcast. This has probably been one of my favorite things of Yu-Gi-Oh is is the mangas and specifically the Yu-Gi-Oh GX manga. If any of y'all that are listening to this podcast and you watch this channel and you watch the Edison Club channel, it is not a secret that Justin and I are very big Yu-Gi-Oh GX and Elemental Hero enthusiasts.
Dude, and I'll tell you why too. Is like, listen, I grew up on the original series and I loved it. Don't get me
Same,
wrong. Like, Yu-Gi-Oh was my favorite for the longest time.
right?
But when GX came out, I was in middle school,
Yeah,
and I used to come up every day and watch it. I think it came on at 4:30 on Cartoon Network,
right.
and it like just the idea. It reminded me of like me and my friends getting together and playing,
Yeah,
and like they're playing too. Like they're in the schoolyard. We're like playing in the middle schoolyard, you know.
it was relatable.
So it is, and like my buddy at the time, Kurt, and this was what got me into Heroes. So I used to hate the hero archetype because he loved it,
Yeah,
and he used to collect. Back when the Vanillas came out in the Lost Millennium, he collected them, and then as time went on, he was getting all the E heroes. I'm like, you know what, like. I'm gonna be against you because we're rivals. I'm gonna get the Destiny heroes, but dude, they sucked so much worse than the
they
Elemental heroes,
they
which sucked as
did.
well. Which sucked as well. So, but anyways, like Flame Wing Man was just so much cooler than Phoenix Enforcer. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
and plus that effect, dude, was
yeah,
it drew it like I don't know if it drew other people into liking that card, but it drew me into liking that card. I was like,
bro.
that card's insane.
Yeah. So I was a fan of Astro Phoenix. I didn't care for his voice though. It sounded like really wimpy, but I was also a fan of Zane.
Same. I I
Zane, yes.
I'll say this. I wasn't a fan of Astor's voice in the dub, but I loved his voice in the sub.
I have to actually watch the sub just because, like, of course, it's got season 4, which I've watched. You've watched it too.
Yeah,
But I just want to watch it all the way through, just because the dialogue is so much different. Like, it's so much a darker series when you listen to the sub.
it really
Like,
is.
it is insane,
It really
especially season
is.
3 and 4.
Yeah, especially seasons 3 and 4.
Yeah,
GX gets such like the dub gets such a bad rap, and people just like kind of shit on it, and like it's like, oh, it's so lighthearted and corny. It's like, dude, like if you would go and watch the Japanese sub, go
dude,
watch season 4. Season
they don't.
4 is dark.
Bro, people don't realize that, like in the sub, like there is no Shadow Realm. Like, these people are dying.
Yeah, they are literally
Like,
dying.
that's why it was such a big deal in Japan, because like in GX when Zane died,
Yeah,
he just instantly like just randomly showed up again.
yeah, and like
And it's like in the dub, it's one thing like, oh, he was in the Shadow Realm, he's cool and everything, but like in the sub, it's like,
yeah, and like the
what's going on? So like, that's why I love the stuff so much more, and that brings us to the manga too, because the manga is a little bit darker than the show is too. Like, well, I'll say the first 2 seasons.
yeah. So we'll all right, we'll get into go ahead and get into this. Like I said, this is gonna be me and Justin are gonna be talking about this for like probably for at least two episodes of the podcast. Just so y'all are getting like not a just a video a podcast episode just jam packed with like, and we're like rushing through things so you can get a good quality episode. Um, so for anybody that's not watched or read like Yu-Gi-Oh GX, it starts off with them being at the Duel Academy, and you have these three different dorms. You have Obelisk Blue, like the god tier players are supposed to be. They're like really snob. Like most of them are kind of snobby in the beginning, and
We're
then
losing you there.
oh, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. And you like I said, you got the Obelisk Blue players. They're kind of like the top tier players, and like they're kind of like snobby in the beginning, and then you have like the raw yellows, they're like little middlings, and then you have the slight reds. They're just there to try and just graduate for the most part. And,
Yeah, it's the same setup as the show for that.
yeah, and with the way they started, it's just like you like some stuff gets left out in the beginning. You don't really get to see Jaden what you call it duel against Crowder like you did in the show.
Yeah, so it's been a while since I've read it. Like, it's one of the mangas that like I went back and like just read through some of the duels they've had.
Yeah,
But it's been a long time since I went back and read the story. Um, it's going to be fun when we get to the different characters and the differences in the manga and the anime and the decks they play and stuff. That's going to be fun for me.
yeah.
So as far as like guiding through the story, that's going to be all you.
Okay, so like the way they so like the way like the story is like started out is just like they so you don't really get to see like the entrance exam like you do in the anime. Like you don't get to see Jaden duel against Crowder like that. So like that was kind of like that was taken
I think
out.
we're losing you again.
See, can you hear me now? See, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, cool deal. Um, but like I was saying, you it actually starts off with Jaden like trying to like kind of like help Cyrus. He's helping Cyrus out. Like Cyrus is dueling against this Obelisk Blue who's trying to become a teacher, and he's trying to like he's a real the Obelisk Blue dude's like a really snobby character, and just not like he's just not. It's just like he's a bitch for the most part.
We're going to say he's a real estate agent. Like, I don't know why. I'm like, what is this?
And just and so he's been trying like this is Albus Blue's trying to become a teacher, and then like after he beats Cyrus, he decides he's gonna play Jaden for the last duel that he needs to become a teacher, and he decides to cheat Jaden in the duel by like locking up his duel disc with some weird laser that he shoots from his duel disc, and it just doesn't even end up mattering because he's like playing like the cyber dinosaur stuff, and he ends up summoning elemental hero Terra Firma and just wallops him.
Dude, so those unfamiliar with the manga, Terra Firma is Jaden. Well, we'll get to that in a little bit, but right now it's Jaden's ace monster. That's like Fling Wee Man.
Yeah,
In the anime, it's Terra Firma in the manga. So, like, if you play like IRL, like Yu-Gi-Oh, you know that these cards like were you recognize them from the manga.
right. Yeah, the elemental hero Terra Firma. I wish that card was so much better than it actually is. Like that card, like I love that card's artwork, and I don't, like I just it's kind of it's a kind of very simple artwork, but I don't know. I really enjoy it.
I like it. Like its application is better for like the only reason it's good is like a material for ocean, like
Yeah,
to get engraved with Prisma, but that's like a whole different conversation.
yeah. It would be so much better if Woodsman was better. Woodsman is trash.
Dude, I know.
But going into the next duel in the series, we get introduced to Chaz, and with Chaz, I really feel like they did Chaz justice in the manga
They,
versus the anime.
my problem with Chaz is not in the manga, in the anime is like you assume that he's going to be the Kaiba esque character,
Yeah,
that he's Jaden's rival,
yeah,
but then like he becomes a joke, like just more of like one of those just like a comedy character as the show goes on.
yeah,
And to me, I always thought Zane took the role of Kaiba more than Chaz did. I don't care who says different,
yeah,
but I think that Zane fits that role better. But what I like about the manga versus the anime is like you don't have the Ojamas, and I get it. It was the fun part of the show, Chaz and the Ojamas. But
yeah,
like Chaz needed to be that serious character,
yeah,
and he didn't need to be too much like Kaiba. and I think the manga did it really well.
Yeah, I agree. I think they just threw the Ojamas into the anime just kind of like to like kind of humble Chaz down and like to chill him out a little bit, where he was kind of like an elitist kind of
Yeah,
guy.
and the show really didn't have like a comedic relief character like Cyrus really wasn't like a comedic relief character like Joey was in the original series.
Yeah,
Like I feel like they sort of wanted that aspect because um, you didn't need like another Zane character in the show,
yeah,
and but the manga did it really well.
yeah. I agree. Um, so you so they actually give a little backstory on Chaz in the manga, which I was really happy about. They showed that Chaz was a really prestigious duelist and was able to really just tear through tournaments as a kid. He was undefeated, and it was it got to be so serious for him that he said if he ever lost if he ever lost a duel that he would leave Duel Academy, and then he runs into Jaden, and they end up having their duel, and Chaz's deck is like stacked with like all these like giant dragon monsters that are just like tearing through Jaden a little bit, and then he like Flame Wingman. He summons Terra Firma about almost every game, and like he thought like with he had Chaz on the ropes a little bit, and then he flips. I forget the name of the trap card, but it reverses the entire turn and brings it like one turn before Terra Firma's on the field. So now he's stuck with Ocean and Woodsman, and he's got his giant dragon back on the field, to where he just is tearing back through Jaden again.
Is it Light and Darkness Dragon?
No, it wasn't Light and Darkness Dragon. It was Dragonic Knight.
Okay, okay, yeah. We get into some really as the manga goes on, you really see some iconic cards
Yeah, and a lot
pop up.
yeah, like a lot of cards. It was like and so a lot of the cards that we get from like these like that we got from these jump magazines back in the day. You finally get to see them like be used in action and stuff like that.
Yeah,
And what was like wild for me, because I didn't think we would see this in the manga, is Jaden defeat Chaz using Wing Karibo level 10. And the reason I thought we wouldn't see that is because from where we had the Wing Karibo level 9. I thought that was going to be like the mainstay like evolution Wing Karibo card that would be in the manga versus level 10, because things are kind of like things are supposed to be like different stuff.
yeah. I didn't know he used level 10 in that. I know in the manga he has level 9,
Yeah,
but I
he ends up using both. He ends up using like level 9 later on down the road.
yeah,
But he ends up beating Chaz with level 10, and then after the duel ends, Chaz like he falls to his knees, like he's just like ashamed that he lost and stuff like that. And you see in this like in the picture, you see in the sky a dual spirit, and it's Light and Darkness Dragon, which we come to find out, Light and Darkness Dragon is Chaz's ace card in the manga, which I thought was amazing. Like when I first read that card, I was like, this card is insane.
bro. It is, and it's crazy too because like he has the armed dragons and everything in the anime, which is cool. It's nice,
Yeah,
but
but
like
they
like yeah,
they don't compare to Light and Darkness Dragon. Like in like for those of you that are listening that didn't play back in like 2007, Light and Darkness Dragon like changed the meta for a good period of time.
yeah, it did. I mean, back when like monarchs were like king and everything,
Yeah, you had Perfect Circle.
like Frog Monarchs, and like now like it's not as big of a threat. It's still a great card. Don't get me wrong, but like people have just discovered more ounce to it. But
Yeah,
back then it was like one of the best cards. It was like unheard of. It changed the game drastically.
yeah, it was. because there wasn't like back in the day there just wasn't like a lot of outs to it, and there wasn't really much you could do to it. Um, but we find out that this is Chaz's ace card. He took it out. He took it out of his deck, so he because he was afraid to ever lose with it. So he took it out of his deck and he buried it on the island, which is just wild. It was, which I thought was kind of wild. But he ends up digging up the card and putting it back in his deck, and reuniting with his dual spirit. And I thought that was pretty cool. That like I love how much more depth they gave Chaz. They do so much justice for Chaz in the manga versus anime, and I love it so much. Um, but after that, after that we get into like a pretty unhinged duel. I feel like, and this is like this next character we're gonna be talking about. It leaves me not kind of very much jaded, just because I really there was so much potential for this character just to be great, manga and anime all together. And I'm talking about Bastion Masawa.
Oh, dude, yes.
He is, dude. Like when I first saw Bastion in the anime, and he is just this very well calculated, very very logical duelist. Thinks everything out. He looks to be like one of he's shown to us to be he would be like maybe one of Jaden's biggest rivals, like between Bastion, Zane, and Chaz. They'd be like Jaden's biggest three rivals at the time, and it just wasn't that. Like he in the so like in the manga, like Bastion's trying to like figure out like what he can do to beat Jaden, and he's like realizing Jaden always draws what he needs when he needs it, and he he's trying he's at the same time though he is in love with Alexis in the manga, and he's trying to find like ways to like talk to her, and he find like there is a DVD set. This is where it gets so unhinged. He like there's a DVD set that he's trying that Alexis is trying to like borrow from somebody of like Battle City or Duelist Kingdom, and uh, Bastion has it, and he was trying to get it, and Jaden was trying to get it from Bastion, but they decided to to duel for it instead. And Bastion's deck is just kind of weird. It's like a weird like zombie deck. It plays like that old card Goka. It's like the little fire zombie monsters like comes that pops up out of the jar with all the little like fire embers popping out of. You know what I'm talking about? Justin.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't realize I was on mute.
Oh, you're good. I was about to say, did he leave me? But do you remember what I'm talking about the monster Goku or whatever, the
Yeah.
zombie that it looks like it's got like little fire embers like popping out of like the jar and stuff like that on the card art.
Yeah, I know he has Mizuki too, right? Like the zombie stuff.
Yeah, he has like Mizuki. He's got the nine tailed fox card in his deck. Like he like Bastion's deck's kind of it's kind of lit.
It's good, but it's not like it doesn't fit his character though.
Yeah, it really don't like if you compare it to the anime, it just does not fit him at all. But like he's perceived in the manga as somewhat of a smart player and a smart duelist, but like not to the magnitude that he was in the anime. And so he duels against Jaden, and they made Goka a fusion monster in the manga. He and Jaden ends up diffusing it, summoning Terra Firma and using Terra Firma gravity to attack them all and win the duel. um, so that was, and then after that he ends up he finds out Alexis wanted to watch the Duel's Kingdom or Battle City. No, it's the Duel's Kingdom one's DVD she was wanting to borrow from somebody, and he got her. He ended up getting her number and all this stuff, and ended up letting her borrow the Duel's Kingdom DVDs, and told Jaden
Yeah.
he'd have to like settle for the Battle City ones. So it's just I wish they would have done more with Bastion's character. It like reminds me of Gohan for Dragon Ball. Like like for the longest time, just so much wasted potential.
Yeah, like he's a really cool character and concept, but like that doesn't do enough with him.
Yeah, did not do enough with him at all. Um, so like going into like the next duel we've got like in this story, it's uh we've got Jaden dueling against Alexa going into duel against Alexis. They're going like so they've got like a beauty contest going between all like the female duels and stuff in on the island, and there's this one girl named Koi Hinata. She's Obelisk Blue, and she is trying to get everybody to vote for her, but more people are like interested in like voting for uh voting for Alexis. She overhears Jaden say he doesn't really care like either way about none of this, that fits Jaden's character. Um, he she then like said like if you like uh you have to duel Alexis. If she wins, then you have to vote, and if not, then she was going to drop out of the contest or whatever. So they like we get into this duel, and Alexis has like her ice cards that we see in season 2 of GX. She has most of them like Ice Queen and
Yeah.
all these other cards, which I like. I think they like for not trying to make a pun here, but like it was a cool concept. um, she's just mainly just been like diffusing like Jaden's monsters, like making sure they can't like making them immobile. She's tears apart Terra Firma. He ends up summoning Elemental Hero Inferno, which I wish they would have done more with that card than what they did. That like
Yeah.
his effect is garbage. Um, and with that, he ends up winning the duel off of that. Like it was a very short duel, and she ends up and then like Koi Hinata ends up dropping out of that beauty contest or what have you. And then after that, we get into the duel for Jaden versus Cyrus. And this duel was very interesting. It was probably the next most interesting duel in the manga. Like the Bastion and Alexis one were cool, but this Jaden and Cyrus one was really cool. Just because you like in the if you watch the anime, Cyrus he starts off he is horrible. He's just not good at all, and he like you get to see him like duel in the manga, and he's actually not bad at all. He like and so to give some to double back, Cyrus gets told by Crowler called Professor Kronos in the manga, but I'll call him Crowler for the video. Um, he gets told he got a 0 on a test. So the only way he can stay in school is if if he beats Jaden in a duel. And Cyrus is giving it his all in this duel. He's summoning Armoroid, summoning all these giant Viacroid monsters. Has got like 3,000, 4,000 attack, and he is just trying. He is trying his best, and he ends up playing this one trap card called it's either trap or spell. It's called transformation, and in it gives him like this like Cyberman like esque suit, and like if his monsters get destroyed, not if his monsters get destroyed, if the card gets destroyed, then every monsters of Cyrus's that was destroyed, their attack points come out of his life points, which was wild. It's talking about putting all your
It's
eggs.
crazy too because like a lot of these duels like seem like they last forever, but they really don't.
Yeah, they really don't. They're like just like a couple pages and that's it. But
Well, I mean,
like
like a couple. Yeah, it's like a couple turns a piece too.
yeah, and he end so Jaden ends up being able to destroy the suit, and Cyrus takes a ends up losing the duel by taking giant chunks of damage. And then after the duel, we find out that from their other professor, Professor Hibiki, uh, that she tells Cyrus that Crowler made a mistake and he actually got a 91. So he gets to stay at Duel Academy, and this leads us into quite of an interesting backstory about Jaden, and one of the like fabled legendary characters, like kind of like a Yugi esque character for Jaden, Koyo Hibiki, which to me he's like I wish they would have done like shown him more in the story, just because the what they showed of him I really
Yes.
enjoyed.
Is this the backstory where he duels Jaden?
Yes, yes,
Dude, that's where you see some of the heroes you know from TV.
yeah, exactly. Like you get like because Jaden ends up building a deck using the anime heroes. Um, but you get to find out in this flashback or this backstory of about Koyo and Jaden, is that Koyo is known to be like the best duelist since Yugi in this time, and he uses the manga heroes like Terra Firma, Ocean, Woodsman, Heat, all that stuff, and Jaden is like a big fan of him, and we find out so is Chaz. This part of the story reminds me a lot of Deku and Bakugo from My Hero Academia, how they grew up like loving All Might.
Yeah, it's a very it's parallel very well. It's very reminiscent of it. Um, what I like about it too is like it's the fact that like the best duelist in the world is somebody that Jaden was very close to.
Yeah, and like that's
It wasn't like some jerk or something like that, that like
right. It was like him having it was like Naruto having Jiraiya. It was
yeah.
like Goku as a kid, having Roshi and stuff like that. Um, but we find out that as this story goes on, Jaden was going to watch Koyo duel in a tournament, and after he ends up oversleeping, and what you call it, he ends up falling ill after the duel and being rushed to the hospital. And as the ambulance is leaving, like Jaden's like chasing that ambulance down like a lawyer. Um, then we get to the hospital scene and they're doing like MRIs and stuff on Koyo, and you see and like they talk about you see like a dark shadow in like his in like in like the X-rays of his brain and stuff like that, and it's just causing him like worlds of trouble, and it's actually killing him. And when Jaden gets to the hospital, Koyo tells Jaden to go home and build the best deck that he can because they're going to duel tomorrow. And Jaden, he leaves the hospital just he's just like you can tell he's just very ready to get this like to make the best deck that he can. And when it time comes time for the duel, you see Koyo's in like in his pro jacket or whatever, pro lack of a better term. um, and he's waiting for Jaden. And they get ready to duel, and the first monster you see, and this was really cool for me, is you see Bubble Man. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, you like he's using it's anime heroes versus manga
Like you
heroes.
don't expect that because like
Yeah,
you've only seen manga ones to up to this point.
yeah, because because in the anime when Jaden's a kid, he doesn't have the hero deck when we see him as a child. He has just like this little like it's like a very like it's a very kid deck
Yeah.
like how we all started out and like his his the he had Ubel that was supposed to be like his best card. Um, but we get into the duel and Jaden's trying his best to like hold his own. Like he's summoning monsters like Blade Edge trying to get in for damage, and he's finally able to summon Flame Wingman and play Skyscraper, and he attacks over one of Koyo's monsters. Ends up getting him down to 900, and then as like after that turn, you like Koyo's sister, Professor Hibiki from the Duel Academy is watching this, and she's like, "Yeah, that's a strong play, but Skyscraper is a double edged sword. Not like for all you know that don't know, Skyscraper works for works for both players. If you're playing a mirror match, that Skyscraper is working for your opponent as well.
Yeah.
And he summons he has Woodsman and Ocean on the field, and the Ocean attacks over Wingman. Woodsman gets in for damage. Jaden plays Sword to Reveal and Light, trying to buy a few turns, and it doesn't end up even mattering on Koyo's last turn. He was able to break through the Swords of Reveal and Light and summon Elemental Hero Terra Firma with Parallel World Fusion, which was one of my favorite cards when it came out. I thought that card was so cool. And at the end of the duel, like Jaden ends up losing, and that was going to be Koyo's last duel, but Jaden doesn't know that. He ends up giving Jaden his deck, and Jaden ends up using it from that point. Ends up using it from that point on, and then Koyo ends up falling into an eternal sleep. And I just like it was that was just they didn't say that he died, but it was just kind of crazy.
Yeah. Well, I mean that's like it's inferred that he did pretty much.
Yeah,
Like he's in a coma.
right.
I don't know about you. Could you give your deck away if you was gonna be in a coma?
I mean, if nobody else is gonna play it, if I'm not gonna play it, somebody else well.
You sit in your grave like at least somebody's playing my deck, and then you hear like, "Yeah, I'd like to trade this in for store credit."
Oh, I'd be sick. I'd be absolutely sick.
Well, that was a fun duel though, man. Like it was cool. Like there's nowhere else you're going to see the classic elemental heroes versus like the manga ones.
Yeah, and I it just
I'd love to see that in the show.
yeah, same. I really I'm so glad that in like the TCG they made Flame Wingman, you know, they gave him a retrain and made him playable, and like he's just really like a mainstay in the hero deck now.
Yeah.
And I'm really hoping down the road they end up doing that with all the anime heroes because I enjoy the manga heroes, but I love absolutely love the anime heroes a lot just because I grew up with them more.
Yeah.
It was what I was more used to seeing. But after that, we get into I believe we get into the tournament arc. Am I correct?
Yes, we get the exchange students coming in.
Yeah, we get the American exchange students, David and Reggie, uh, two American duelists. They're gearing up to have a tournament at Duel Academy. Um, like, and the rules are like you have to earn like you have to earn like points, kind of like how they did like with the GX tournament in season two in the anime. Like, but the way they did it for this is if you duel against Cypher Reds, you get 1 point. If you duel against Raw Yellows and win, you get 5 points. And if you duel against Obelisk Blues and beat them, you get 10 points.
Yeah.
So it ends up like all coming down. Like you get to see, you get to see Cyrus duel against David. David ends up beating him using the plant. You get to see the planet cards that we had seen, like from like the jump, like the out of the jump cards that were just really always just looked over because they're just there's no they really don't have really any synergy with anything in the game
Yeah.
really. So like you see these cards get played, and Cyrus ends up losing to Big Saturn. Jaden tries to duel David, but David overlooks him because he doesn't really respect Jaden because he's wearing a Cypher Red jacket, and so he doesn't think he's really worth anything. And we also get to find out they are like on like a little bit of on a little bit of a mission. David and Reggie are
Yeah.
they're in looking for duelists with dual spirits, and as of right now, the only ones that really have dual spirits are Jaden and Chaz with Light and Darkness Dragon and Wing Karibo. Um, they're not aware of Jaden having a dual spirit at this time, and then we get further into the tournament, and it ends up coming down to it comes down to Jaden, Chaz, Alexis, the two American students, David and Reggie, Bastion, and Cyrus, and uh, Alexis ends up losing to David. She ends up getting OTK'd by Big Saturn, which is
Yeah.
just that's just a wild concept. I couldn't imagine ever us going to a tournament. It's like, yeah, I got OTK'd by Big Saturn. I couldn't ever just ever hear that leave my lips.
Better than Uranus, I guess.
Getting OTK'd by Uranus is crazy. Um, then we we see Bastion and Chaz duel, and he's trying everything he can think of to get over Chaz's Lightning Darkness Dragon, and it's just not working. And Chaz ends up just completely destroying Bastion. Like
Yeah.
it just wasn't close.
Did he have Light and Darkness Dragon in this duel?
Yeah, he that's
And
what.
he had, yeah, Dark End and Light End, right?
Yeah, he. I don't think he. Yeah, he
No,
didn't
he
use.
was against Tatum.
Yeah, he uses those against Jaden and like later on down the road. Um, so with so Chaz ends up beating uh Bastion, and then Jaden ends up having to duel against the girl Koi Hinata from the little beauty contest early on in the manga, and she is on this like weird snake deck, and it's like her ace monster is Evil
It's
Dragon.
Yamada, right? Yamada Dragon?
No, it's Evil Dragon Anata.
Oh, okay.
Um, and you get to find out in this duel. And I thought this was pretty cool because I had to refresh myself a little bit with this manga because it's been a while since I had read it. You get to see that Jaden actually plays Thunder King in his deck.
Yeah, that makes playing Hero beating Tango a little bit cooler.
Yeah,
Jaden deck almost.
yeah. It makes it gives you more of that GX feeling like when you're playing the deck.
Yep.
Because Jaden used Thunder King. He uses he uses Honest in the anime. Um, he's got the Shining and stuff in the manga and stuff as well. He never uses Neo's alias, but it's whatever.
Absolute Zero.
Yeah, absolute zero. Favorite card in Essen right now.
No, it's like I was shook when Yugi used Gores in the Yu-Gi-Oh! Art manga.
Yeah, like that. Seeing like Yugi have Gores was pretty cool from that. Um,
You know what's crazy? It's a
what's
bit off topic.
what's that?
Gores being legal in Japan like 2006.
That is pretty crazy.
Got like three.
Like, gosh, Gores was such a crazy card. It's
Or
just
it might have
like
been 2005. Just imagine Gores in goat format.
it's insane. It's like it's literally almost the best. It could be almost the best card. Like if we would have had that in GOAT format, that'd been wild.
So we're getting into the planet stuff, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's almost like the manga's version of like the Society of Light,
yeah,
sort of that kind of vibe you're getting.
yeah. It's because like they're in the, like and plus they've got like the white clothes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They kind of look like they almost kind of look like like sailors or they're in the navy, but like how they're dressed is kind of it's kind of wild. Um, but getting into getting further into that duel, um, Jaden ends up once again, like I said, he drops Terra Firma like it's his job. Summons Terra Firma to beat over Evil Dragon Anata to win the game, and then we are left with after that we get to see Chaz versus Cyrus, and this duel in particular was wild. Like
Yes.
you get to like you get to see a side of Cyrus like you rarely get to see from the anime, and he is giving Chaz he's literally legitimately giving Chaz a run for his money, and it like Chaz like literally like almost like
I think we
literally.
lost you there.
Can you hear me now? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. I don't know what's going on. I'll have to work on that. Sorry, everybody. Um, but we get into like Cyrus is giving Chaz a run for his money with that during this duel, and he ends up during the duel he ends up being able to beat Light and Darkness Dragon during the duel, but then but then Chaz is able to bring it back, and just Cyrus wasn't able to contend with it a second time, and Chaz ends up winning. And then we get into the final, which is Chaz versus Jaden, the rematch.
Yes.
And this this is one this like this duel is probably going to be like a shocker for everybody because one thing that a lot of people get like get upset about with like the anime, they say Jaden doesn't lose enough, and like in the manga you start to see Jaden gets
He does, man. He loses quite a bit.
yeah, he loses quite a bit. He loses to people you wouldn't think he would ever lose to. He so they Chaz and Jaden are dueling in the finals, and the winner gets to duel Zane for which is like Zane's like in the manga like just like the anime considered god tier, and like nobody's ever able to touch Zane.
Yeah.
But Jaden is trying his best to like combat light and darkness dragon, and he's just not able to. Like light and darkness dragon is just soloing this whole tournament. It's really what it came down to. Chaz is like, all right, let me strap this light and darkness dragon in this deck, and let me stop playing around. Uh, oh, I need to. I just remembered. I got a little bit of the story wrong for the duel before with Jaden and the Koi Hinata. He won with Wing Kribo level 9, not Terra Firma. because
Okay.
he got Wing Hero level 9 to up to 6200 and bashed that evil dragon
Yeah.
into oblivion. That's what it was. I got confused. That was my bad, folks. Um, but yeah, getting back into the Jaden and Chaz duel. He ends up trying his best to beat over this light and darkness dragon and like trying to subdue it, and he like even when he finally gets it off the board, here comes dark end and light end. it's just it's just like
Is
every
that the
turn.
one where he attacks and he switches like dark end to light end, and
Yeah,
then light end like he does it's a quick effect in the manga, but to,
yeah,
like decrease the attack and then again attack.
yeah, and then he brings them back together to make light and darkness again, and just ends up beating Jaden.
Yeah.
And that was like when I first read that in the when I was in like high school when I first read that, and I was like a big Jaden fan, and it was kind of wild for me to see him lose to Chaz, because you in the anime he never loses to Chaz, ever,
Yeah.
not one time. Um, so it was just kind of wild that they wrote it that way. But at the older I got, it's just like it made me it made me glad that they kind of like humbled the character a little bit, just to not make him just like a god everywhere he goes.
Yeah.
Um, but then we get into I guess you can say the exhibition match of this tournament, and we have Zane versus Chaz, and this is the first time. This is the I think this is the first time we get to see Zane duel in the manga, and the only time I believe. Am I correct?
Yeah, I think he only dueled once and he like obliterated the person he played against. What? No? Did he play against Jaden later too?
I don't believe they played.
Huh.
I don't because after because after the tournament we get into
Yeah.
the other exchange students. Um, but yeah, we get into Zane and Chaz's duel, and it's just not even close. It's like Zane beats him in his first turn,
Yeah.
like he ends up summoning El Tannen and just obliterating Chaz, and that was the end of that. Like it was like literally the quickest game in the entire manga. Like it wasn't even close.
Yeah.
But I think right for that we'll like we'll taper everything off for another video. Like we'll do a part two. Um, Justin, is there anything else you want to say about part one of this?
No, I'm just sad that we can't have this on the screen and dub it ourselves.
Right?
That would be
Like,
fun.
dude.
But oh man, it's been a blast, dude, revisiting all these old duels and everything I forgot about.
Oh yeah, it's definitely been a blast. I really enjoyed this. I'm glad we're getting to do this now.
Yeah.
Um, but
It
yeah,
makes me want to revisit the 5Ds manga at some point.
yeah. I mean, we can get into that. I'll definitely have to like deep dive into that because I didn't read much of the 5Ds one. I definitely didn't read Zexel. I was not a Zexel fan at all.
Yeah, I didn't try reading Zexel, but I know that a lot of people didn't like it. 5Ds is okay from what I heard.
Yeah, I like
But
from like the little bit I got to read of it. 5Ds was okay.
I
Uh,
think I think starting with GX is fine since we're huge GX fans.
yeah.
But we really do need to go back and just do all of it.
Oh yeah, for sure. I felt like this one was just right, just from where we're both big hero heads.
I don't know if you read Yu-Gi-Oh! R, but that is such a good series too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've read that one before.
So
that one's a really
yeah,
good one.
but
But
yeah, dude, have a blast, man.
yeah, definitely. We'll probably once we get into that, we'll into like back in the dual monsters part of it. We'll probably start off with Yu-Gi-Oh! R once we get into that.
Well,
And
I don't know. We should probably start off with the original and just work our way up because there's some
yeah,
things in Yu-Gi-Oh! R that you're not going to know unless you read the first part.
yeah, that's true. That's true. That's fair.
Yeah,
Um,
but we could do like the original 1 through 7, and
Okay.
then get into like the Duelist after that because the manga's not as long as the show because there's not like no filler or anything.
Yeah, like they that's why I was really happy about. They really cut like a lot of the fat out of that.
Yeah, so I'm ready, dude.
All right. Well, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Behind the Duel This podcast. We will be giving you another interview on our next episode. On our next episode next week, and I hope y'all stay tuned for that. This is Ty and Justin from Behind the Duel Disc signing out. Until the next
See
one.
ya.